Hello, good evening on day 77 of our 99 days. Today I want to talk about synchronicity and excitement, following your excitement. And yesterday I asked you about creating your avatar, your happy you. And today I would like you to drop it, in the sense that I would like you to drop the material, realistic facts of your avatar. So like I shared to you many times before, the universe is not responding to our materialistic wish list. I mean, they're not responding to a wish like, I want a huge house, and I want to have a huge bank account, and I want to have a partner who looks like this. And so it's not responding in that way. It's responding to the vibration you would like to have, to the feeling you would like to create in your life, bring into your life, the frequency you would like to bring in your life. So the reason why I ask you to create this avatar is because it might be easier and a little bit more tangible than creating a vision, if a purpose or a vision is not felt right now yet. So this is just a different way of going actually to the same thing. But the reason why I also ask you to let go of that image is to just connect to the frequency of happiness that feels happy to you. So once you've created this avatar, and you align yourself with this image of you, the you who you want to be tomorrow, then you can embrace that feeling of that avatar. And it might help to just create a little short sentence that really connects directly to that sense, what you get when you read through your avatar and imagine that's you tomorrow. So read through it, feel the frequency that is rising. It should be rising, otherwise your avatar is not stated in the right way. So this happy you gives you a feeling inside, like this feeling of love, creativity, of excitement, of passion, of contentment. And try to link that feeling to a short sentence that resembles this feeling. And that sentence equals actually the frequency of your avatar. So by letting go of this image of this avatar means letting go of the actual things that you want to see in your life. So if you describe something like a healthy food pattern, or a new job you would like, or a new relationship you would like, then we as humans tend to create something with our mind. We tend to create something, imagine something that we know that might exist. Otherwise, we cannot create it. But life doesn't give you, or doesn't show you actually the exact way, but it gives you a frequency that is resembling the desired frequency. And that might show up very different and much greater or grander, or might even blow you off your socks when it's finally there. But if you hold yourself limited by the image, then you might get disappointed if the image isn't created exactly in the way you actually imagined it. So this is really to get the mind out of the picture again, by letting go of this direct image, this concrete image, and just take away the frequency of it. And this short sentence helps to align you every day from now on with this imaginative you, the happy you, how that feels. And that's actually all that's needed. And then the next step is, if we don't want to create we don't have to create a huge vision. We don't have to change the world. I've said that many times. We don't have to don't have to become big entrepreneurs and become the second Elon Musk. It can be something for you, but for most of us it's not. We're just happy with a content life that is peaceful and shows creativity or shows happiness with lots of people we love around us, and in a stable environment, and with no judgment and with no lack beliefs or less lack beliefs. I mean, that kind of life is beautiful in itself. So in order to create and move towards that life, we have to follow our excitement, because that actually is how synchronicity works. That's literally the organizational principle of synchronicity. And synchronicity is when two things come together. You could not have imagined actually coming together at the right time, and you think like, wow, that's a coincidence. But it's actually two things coming together in synchronicity because they completely align with your frequency. So kind of like this perfect match happening for you at the right time, at the right moment. And you would like to have more of these synchronicities, because the more you have, the more life feels like going into flow. So like, this is happening, oh wow, great, and then that's happening, oh great, and then kind of you get into this flow, like going from excitement to excitement. So the first little step is just be very conscious and be very honorable to yourself, to every day choose of the options you have your highest excitement. So if you can choose, besides the things you have to do, like you have to go to work, or you have to do the housekeeping, or whatever your job is on a daily basis, besides that, you still have a lot of choices in the time left. And even within the work you're doing, you probably also have a lot of choices how you do the work. And try to be very conscious of what the options are and what excites you the most. And always pick the one that excites you the most. And do that first, and then do the other course. So, then do the other jobs. Sorry, I don't think I used the right English word. So be very, very, very conscious of what excites you more. So if you have an option for the evening, and you can choose between watching a movie, reading a book, going out for a walk, or I don't know, whatever the thing is you think about, then choose consciously what excites you the most. Don't always go for the one like, I have to do this, but first do the one you like to do most, even if it's for a short time. But follow that excitement every day, very consistently. And not at the cost of others, not at the cost of not doing your job anymore, not at the cost of not being friendly to the people around you, or leaving all the commitments behind you because they don't excite you anymore. But even if that has to be, then it has to be. I mean, even if you need time for yourself to follow your excitement and finally do what you like, instead of always following what others actually want you to do, then that might be a necessary time to just choose for yourself for a period of time, until you have risen your frequency in a stable way to a higher frequency, so life gets more easy. And then, because choosing your excitement only comes from feeling this inner alignment, you cannot choose excitement from the mind. It really doesn't happen in the mind. You cannot be very excited about something just by the mind. I mean, the mind can rationalize things. It makes sense to do this, or it seems like a best option to do this, or that's about what the mind can come up with. But excitement is felt in the body. You really have to feel like this lift of frequency inside. Like, oh, that's great. And like now for me, for instance, I have an evening and the kids are out with their father for Father's Day. And for me, it's really an excitement to just have a few hours, have my own dinner, and just be with myself for a while, and do what I like. So I watched some videos, and then I felt excited to do this live stream with you. And after this, I'm gonna read my Eckhart Tolle book again. I'm really excited about these things, and it's different than when my kids are home and I have to prepare dinner, which I also enjoy. But an evening off every now and then is really nice to just follow my own rhythm. And that excitement, like to have this space for myself, is felt in my body, like this kind of raises your frequency a little. So be very conscious with very little things. It can be as little as just taking a walk to get a little ice cream for yourself, or whatever small it is. It doesn't really matter as long as you're consciously choosing it. And at least every day, at least one excitement first before you have to do the other things you have to do because they're part of your architecture right now, they're part of your system right now. And over time, you will notice that you will choose differently and life will change gradually, and you're choosing different things. And so you don't have to do everything radically. You can also do it step by step. And then you move towards becoming more of your happy avatar feeling frequency, because you're constantly aligning excitement and creating synchronicities, that things come together which fits perfectly, things happen then perfectly, is because it responds to feelings like happiness, creation, love, joy, excitement. That's all in the same realm actually of actually where we want to move to. And even when you have a feeling of feeling low in your frequency, perhaps you can then still have a few options you can choose from, like you can stay on the couch and feel really miserable, or you can feel a little bit more excitement about taking a walk because you know you'll feel better after that. Or watch a movie instead of just keep lingering in the mind to get yourself out of this low frequency. And this requires a little practice to sense excitement, because we've done so many years everything on an autopilot actually. We just go through the motions of the day and we don't really think about what we're excited. And well, perhaps we are when the weekend starts, we think like, oh, that's great, now I have time for myself and how can I do the things that I like. But then there's a long list of things to do, and before you know, the weekend is finished and nothing has really lit you up. And then you start the Monday and then we repeat the cycle again. And it's really self-rewarding to choose a little bit for yourself, to nourish yourself. And the effect of the universe is, or the effect of life is that for once you feel a little bit happier. Your frequency literally rises because you do things you really love. And secondly, because this frequency is higher, you get the same thing in return. And that's where the synchronicity of things you would like to happen appear in your life. That might be as little as you were excited about something and you were thinking about knowing a bit more about a certain topic, and then you open up YouTube and wow, the first video you touch upon seemed to be at that topic you were just thinking about. That's synchronicity. Or you were thinking about a friend you actually want to talk to because you haven't talked to that friend for a while and you're really wondering how he or she is. And that person calls and actually asks you a very important question, which really excites you, or it really surprises you. I mean, synchronicity can come in very, very subtle ways. It doesn't have to be big things either. And synchronicity feels a little bit like your intuition is being answered. It's like you felt already something happening and then it's happening. I'm like, oh, that's fine. You already thought about this a few minutes ago. Or synchronicity is only recognized after the fact. When you look back at things that have happened in the past week, you're like, wow, that's really a coincidence. I couldn't have thought these two things would happen at the same time. Or that thing would happen right in front of me. But we need to create this change in the mirror. And we can only create this change in the mirror, because life is a mirror, as I said many times, if we change ourselves. And changing ourselves is really acting differently now. It's all about acting. It's not about thinking. It's not about feeling even. Eventually, it's about the acts you do, the different way of acting, the different behavior, the different choices you make. So the change doesn't really come just from letting go and releasing lack beliefs, or releasing pain, or releasing or healing wounds. That really is part of the process. But the big change comes from when you choose actively to do things differently, or to behave or to react differently for that what happens. I mean, there's always a choice how you react. You can't control everything that happens in life. It depends, of course, on the level of consciousness, but even if you're highly enlightened, still things might happen to you unexpectedly, or things happen in the world because you're not the only one here. But then still, how you react to that event is up to you. And that's where the change happens. That's where you see a different person in the mirror. So like this little example, if you want the mirror to change when you frown, and you don't like the frowning face in front of you, it doesn't really help to shout at the mirror to change itself. The only thing to change the mirror is that you, the one who starts smiling, and then the mirror smiles back. And that's the metaphor actually for life. If you want life to change, then you have to change first. Otherwise, life doesn't change around you. Otherwise, you keep repeating the same thing all over again and again. And it's frustrating when you have done a lot of work and you are already feeling you've changed so much because you've done so much work, and still life doesn't show you the happy mirror face, but still gives you like a frowning face back because you apparently still are frowning to life because it still feels heavy. Then in fact you haven't changed enough. That's the brutal truth. Not a nice one to say, and definitely not a nice one to hear. But it's a simple fact of how the universe works. And if you can embrace that, then it to me it literally helps to just say like, okay, I have a choice here. I can keep frowning and be sad about what happened, or it's keep happening and I'm still frustrated that it's not changing. But what am I not seeing here, or what am I not releasing here, or what am I not surrendering to? And if you don't have a direct answer, then just surrender to what is. Just completely surrender. Okay, I don't know the answer, but I surrender. I completely surrender and I choose my excitement again and again and again. My little steps in excitement. And synchronicity is no more than just life being at flow. You know, the right job at the right time, the right idea at the right time, the good insight when you have a conversation with a person and you can help the other person. It's you can call it synchronicity, you can call it intuition, it doesn't really matter. You just pick wisdom, knowledge out of the universe or out of a greater context than you're doing today. You literally open up your perspectives, and therefore you have more entrance to more knowledge. You have more ways to entrance knowledge, to entrance wisdom. And that's actually how a awakened person shows up. It just is able to be more adaptable to what's happening and can feel and sense into more things and can therefore create more opportunities, more possibilities. So the first step is to define your short sentence that resembles the frequency you feel when you read through your avatar. A very short sentence like how you're happy. I am happy if or when or whatever sentence you create. A very short sentence, or it can even just be one word. Like, for instance, freedom is an important word for me. If I feel low or if I have a little setback, then liberation or freedom is something like a frequency I can tap into immediately, and it helps. So change that avatar into a single small sentence which resembles this frequency, and test it, of course, if it if it works like that for you, if it's the right connection, if you made that bridge between the written avatar and the feeling it gives you, the happy you. And then the second step is to follow your little steps in excitement, the things every day in your daily life. Choose consciously at least one thing a day that excites you, as small as it can be, even if it's only half an hour or 10 minutes, but do it consciously so you can really enjoy it. Because otherwise excitement isn't really felt. And excitement might be a big word for us most of us being Dutch, but let's call it a happy feeling, or a feeling of being lighter. And then try to extend those choices in excitement. Because it's really an obligation towards yourself, towards the one you want to love so much, to follow this excitement, to create more of that in your life. And it doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge the bad things or the worst things or the nasty things that happen in the world or in lives around us. But then we can embrace it with more compassion. But we first need to fulfill ourselves with love. We really have to love ourselves. We really have to feel complete. So I'm consciously choosing another approach instead of the vision work, because somehow that was too outstretched for some persons, I've noticed, or I've got feedback. It's drawn too much in the mind. So I hope this different approach will help you. And of course, I'm trying things out here in the 99 days to see what really works. So I'd love your feedback, if this is a better way, a better approach. And if not, let me know as well, of course, because then we can see if there's a different course or a different route to the same. Okay? Thanks for today, and see you back tomorrow. Bye.